Hey guys, a while back I promised you guys a Blu-ray collection video, and so I've been pondering how I wanted to do this. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to show you what my Blu-ray collection looks like as a whole, and then after that I'm going to show you my horror collection. I'm just going to break this down in volumes. So this video will be just horror, and then the next video will probably be action and sci-fi and whatnot. But without further ado, let's get it started. Okay guys, here is my Blu-ray collection. That's about around like 450 Blu-rays. Okay guys, I got you a little closer here. Basically my horror movies are that bottom shelf there on the top row, and then where you can see the Halloween and the Friday the 13th, it's that shelf. So just to kind of show you how I got them organized, I have them organized by subgenre. So first there you can see I got them broken down by monster movies, aliens, predators, and then moving along you can see the thrillers, kind of like the Hannibal collection, Frozen. Then you got your ghost stories. I only have a few of those, Babadook, Conjuring, yeah. And then I have my classics, you know, like Exorcist, Jaws, Psycho, The Thing, Millennium slashers, you know, and pre-millennium like Scream, You're Next, Texas Chainsaw 3D. And then I have a really big selection of zombie movies, starting with 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. And then finally you can see the vampire movies. Got a few of those too. And I'm going to go through these individually with you too. Moving down here, we have the classic 80s slashers. We got The Burning, The Fog, Friday the 13th. There's my favorite, the Halloween box set. And I believe that just won box set of the year on some kind of awards show. Just dropped in the news a couple days ago. I just did a review on Sleepaway Camp 2, and I did an unboxing for these three, so check that out. And that's pretty much the end of my horror collection. The rest of them is my steelbooks. I did a steelbook video, so you guys can check that out if you want. Okay guys, I am going to run through these really quick because I have quite a few Blu-rays, and just in horror alone, I'm probably going to go through about 100 of them. So, like I said, I'm just going to go through these real quick. I don't want to waste too much of your time, and I want to make it enjoyable for you. So, anyway, here we go. Okay, we got the first Alien vs. Predator. Not the best Alien movies, Predator movies, but I still think they're fun. AVP Requiem. The cinematographer should be, I don't want to say fired, that's mean, but the movie is just so damn dark. Like, you have to pump up your brightness settings to the max. Prometheus. I love this movie. A lot of people didn't like this movie, and it does have some flaws, but man, it's just so great. And they finally give us the story of the space jockey, which we've been wanting that for 30 years now. So I love what Ridley Scott did with Prometheus. And there is the Alien box set. This is one of my favorite box sets. This thing is just glorious. This is actually the UK version. I got this like way back when it first came out. But it's not the book style. I kind of prefer the book style packaging instead of the style that just opens up. The Descent. I think this is one of the best horror movies probably in the last decade. Really good. If you haven't seen this, check it out. Same director as The Descent, Neil Marshall. He directed Dog Soldiers. This is one of the better werewolf movies. Predators. For a Predator sequel, this one's pretty decent. I mean, nothing can touch the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic, but I actually had a lot of fun with this one. And I actually have two Blu-rays of Predator. This is the 3D version with the Ultimate Hunter edition. So if you don't want to watch the 3D, then you can watch the Ultimate Hunter edition. But the contrast and the digital noise reduction are pumped up way high to where it almost looks like a video game. That's why I would get this version. If you're a film lover like I am and you like grain in your movies and you want your movie to look like it was filmed in the 1980s, stick with the original Blu-ray of Predator. This one's great. Red Riding Hood. I'm not going to go too far into that one. I got it at Hastings. I think it was like $3. Species. This is another really good one, and the creature design was designed by Giger, who designed Alien. Guys, I'm a huge fan of John Carpenter's The Thing. This is the prequel, actually, and you know what? I really like this one. It links up really well with the first one, so it's a great double feature. They got a little carried away with the CGI on some of the scenes, but overall, really satisfying. I thought the third act was kind of weak, but Like I said, really satisfying, and the last scene that connects to the John Carpenter classic is great. And The Wolfman. I like what Universal did with this remake of the classic Wolfman story, and I thought Benicio del Toro did a great job as the Wolfman. I think this movie's really underrated. Alright, for those Rob Zombie fans, this is an essential double feature. This is House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. Really good. I did a review on this one, Excision. Very strange movie. It's kind of like if Donnie Darko was in a horror setting. Frozen. I really love this movie. This one's really cool. It's one of those isolated movies. It's in one location throughout the whole movie, but the way it's directed really well. The characters are stuck on a ski lift for the duration of the movie, and it's got some really cool scenes in it. And I just picked up the Hannibal trilogy, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon. I still haven't cracked these open yet, but these are classics. I love these. I don't have Manhunter yet, which is pretty much, Red Dragon is a remake of Manhunter, but I'm a big Edward Norton fan, so, and plus it had Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, so. The Roommate, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I had a good time with it. It's kind of like Single White Female. Another one of the remakes, Amityville Horror. I actually liked this one too. I thought it was pretty decent. I wasn't a big fan of the original Amityville. You know, some of those old movies, some of them are dated to the point where they're not enjoyable. But I like the Ryan Reynolds one, and I believe Chloe Grace Moretz is in this. She's like a toddler. Recently did a review on this one, The Babadook. Very effective little ghost story. The Conjuring, James Wan, haunted house movie. Really well done. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this one. And like The Conjuring is The Haunting in Connecticut, which is also a very interesting story, but I believe a lot of it, they said it's based on true events, but some people say that some of the events in this movie are bullshit. Insidious. Love the first Insidious. Just did a review on Insidious 3. Thought that one was pretty well done too. This is very underrated. Oculus. If you have not seen Oculus, it's very well done. It's a good ghost story, and that mirror is creepy as hell. Another one that I really loved, Sinister. Sinister is a really great horror movie. And I love the character, I think it's Bulgur or something like that. I can't remember how you pronounce his name. But yeah, really cool movie, Sinister. And I believe they're doing a sequel actually. Okay, on to some of the classics. American Psycho. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Who doesn't love American Psycho? Great movie. Do I really have to say anything? It's The Exorcist. Jaws, one of the greatest movies of all time. Nightmare Before Christmas. I gotta mention something about this. If you're a Tool fan, check out The Nightmare Before Lateralis. Tool has an album called Lateralis that matches up pretty creepily to The Nightmare Before Christmas, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. I recently did a review on this one in all black and white, and I did it in green screen, which was kind of cool. So, Psycho, classic. Another classic, The Shining. One of the greatest acting performances ever. Jack Nicholson, amazing. And John Carpenter's The Thing. This is in my top 5, probably top 3 greatest movies of all time. I love The Thing. Okay, moving on, we're getting to some of the remakes. This is Black Christmas. I'm not gonna lie, this movie's horrible. It actually starts off really well, probably for like the first 20 minutes, but then it gets really stupid. And yeah, you'll see. It's just horrible. The cinematography is beautiful in it for Christmas. It's great, but yeah. Carrie. I actually like Carrie, the remake with Chloe Grace Moretz. I thought it was really well done. Had a lot of fun with it, but I don't think it's as good as Brian De Palma's. This is actually a really good Shia LaBeouf movie, Disturbia. It's kind of a watered down slasher movie though, but it's still got some cool stuff in it. And I have all the Final Destinations, a few of them on Blu-ray, a few of them on DVD, but this is Final Destination 5. This is a 3D version. And The Final Destination, this is the 4th one. High Tension. If you have not seen High Tension, this is a great movie. This is a French movie actually, but it doesn't really get in the way of your enjoyment of the movie because there's very little talking in it. And it's a great slasher movie with a crazy twist ending. High Tension. Last House on the Left, the remake. This is a really good horror movie. Check it out. Maniac with Elijah Wood. I love the way this one was filmed from kind of a first-person point of view and really creepy. My Bloody Valentine 3D. This is one of the better 3D presentations for a horror movie. You'll have a lot of fun with this one. Night Train. I barely remember this movie. I think I paid $1 for it. Orphan. One of the most surprising endings of any horror movie I've seen in the past 15-20 years. Crazy movie. Really well acted. Check it out. And of course I got the Scream trilogy. Really loved the first one. I'm not a huge fan of the second and third, but I really liked the fourth. I thought the fourth was excellent. And I like how they played with the remake genre at the current time. They had a lot of fun with it. Silent Night. This is one of the worst remakes I've seen besides Black Christmas. It's a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, but not really because the stories are completely different. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. This is definitely one of the better remakes, and it's kind of one of the first that really kicked off the remake craze. Texas Chainsaw 3D. This was actually in my underrated horror movies, and I know a lot of people are going to rip me to shreds for this one, but I really like this one. I had a lot of fun with it. You're Next. I believe this came out in 2013. This was one of my favorite movies of that year. Adam Wingard, he directed this, The Guest, and he produced, I believe, We Are Still Here, which I did a review on. So, yeah, You're Next. Love it. On to the zombie movies. 28 Days Later. Excellent. 28 Weeks Later. Even more excellent, I think. And I love The Rage Virus. Cabin in the Woods. This was a lot of fun, and I like how they played with so many different genres of horror. Very well written and directed. Who doesn't love Tim Burton? Corpse Bride. This one's a really fun little horror Halloween movie. The Crazies. I thought this was one of the most underrated zombie movies out there. Is it really a zombie movie? Yeah, maybe, but it's a lot of fun and creepy as hell. Dawn of the Dead. This was in my top 5 zombie movies. And I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. A lot of fun. Evil Dead, one of my favorite movies of all time. Ash Lives. Evil Dead 2. This was one of the first movies that really infused horror and comedy and did it so well, and this is just a classic, one of the greatest. And then Army of Darkness. This is where things got a little haywire, but man, it has some really great lines in this movie. Right now you're in charge of 2 things, Jack and shit, and Jack just left town. Grindhouse. You got Planet Terror and you got Death Proof. 2 different directors, 2 excellent movies, especially Death Proof. I love Death Proof. It's not really a horror movie, but it's in Grindhouse. I Am Legend with Will Smith. This was a really good zombie movie, I thought, except they got a little bit carried away with the CGI. A little Drumdums trivia for you. The scene when he's on the bridge and there's a cab car that's hanging over the side of the bridge. I was actually under that bridge when they were filming that scene because I was actually in New York visiting family, and just so you know, when you watch that scene it looks like it's desolate and nobody's around. There's literally thousands of people below that bridge. Jennifer's Body. I thought this one was really well written, and it was really funny, and it's a pretty cool movie. Life After Beth. I bought this for like 13 bucks when it came out. I love good zombie movies, and I'm a big fan of Aubrey Plaza, but I think maybe I just need to give it another shot, but it didn't really grab me. I thought it was a little bit too out there. Night of the Creeps, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Tom Atkins, need I say more? I have the whole Resident Evil collection. They got worse as they went along. This is the first. Second one. Extinctions, I actually like the desert setting. At least they were trying something different with that one, and I thought the cinematography looked great in that. And if it wasn't for the amazing 3D in this movie, it would be horrible. But if you watch it in 3D. It's great in 3D. And the last one, Retribution, also great in 3D. Return of the Living Dead, my favorite zombie movie of all time. More brains. Zombieland. Who doesn't love Zombieland? Who doesn't love Bill Murray? Freaking awesome. Oh, and one more thing. Isn't it crazy that Woody Harrelson wanted Twinkies so bad in this movie? And then I remember shortly after the movie came out, there was a shortage of Twinkies. Crazy. World War Z. Really like this movie, especially the unrated cut. The unrated cut's really cool, and there's a lot more gore in it. Okay, now we're on to the vampire movies. Daybreakers. I thought Daybreakers was okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Dracula. Francis Ford Coppola. Gary Oldman's acting in this is amazing. I mean, he is probably top 5 one of the greatest actors of our generation. From Dusk Till Dawn. Tarantino, I believe, directed half of this, and Robert Rodriguez directed the other half. And, classic. George Clooney's excellent in this too, as well as Quentin Tarantino. Fright Night. I have an unboxing video for this, but This is the Twilight Time release, and it's sold out. But I really wanted to get my hands on this. Fright Night. It's a classic 80s vampire movie. So much fun. So much better than the remake, too. Interview with a Vampire. Another classic. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Anne Rice's novel. Great movie, great story. Excellent. Let Me In, the remake of Let the Right One In. Let the Right One In is so good. And Let Me In, I watched it once, and I recently bought it again because I want to add it to my October playlist. So I'm looking forward to watching this one this October. But I remember when I watched it the first time. It's really good. Okay, guys, the Underworld, I guess quadrilogy you could call them now. Really loved the first one. The second one's really cool. The third one's really cool because they did the little prequel. And then the fourth one was not so good. But my wife told me if there's one celebrity that I get a pass on, it's Kate Beckinsale. So Kate Beckinsale, we're giving the go-ahead. Okay, moving on to classic slashers, 80s slashers. We're going to start with the original My Bloody Valentine from 1981. I believe this Blu-ray just went out of print. So if you guys want it, you better go get it quick, because it's starting to hike up there in price. Any 80s horror fan's gonna want to have Nightmare on Elm Street, the collection. And this has the first 7 movies, but it doesn't have the remake. And this is the remake, and I actually really like the remake. A lot of people hate the remake, but I don't get it. It's really dark. The cinematography is beautiful in the movie. Jackie Earle Haley is great as Freddy. I don't know. Synapse Films released Prom Night, the original Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. It was really cool to get this one on Blu-ray, finally. And this is my baby. I did an unboxing for this box set alone. But yeah, this is my prized possession, guys. I love this. I love that the producer's cut is finally out after 20 years. So... and guys, if you want this, if you're on the fence about it, just get it, because it's gonna go, once it goes out of print, it's gone. You're not gonna get the producer's cut again for a long time, if ever. Okay, I kept some of my Halloween Blu-rays because obviously they're not in the complete collection. One of them is Universal's release of Halloween 2. It's got a little bit more of a film-like transfer, and I prefer this transfer over the Shout Factory. Also, Halloween 4. I actually had to rebuy Halloween 4 because the Halloween 4 that was in the box set, there was an audio issue with it. It went out of sync, and so they had this whole disc replacement program, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. But so I had to rebuy for like $5. I got the Halloween 4 back, and one of the special features was missing from this on the box set. And then, if you want the theatrical versions of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, get the Alliance Canadian release. This is the one you want, and I prefer the theatrical versions over the director's cuts for the most part. This is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 40th edition. This just came out, I believe last October, but just loaded with tons of extra features from the previous release and then some new ones. So yeah, definitely get this one if you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Only thing I didn't like about it is it's in I believe it's a G1 case, which is a DVD sized case. So it doesn't really match up with Blu-rays that well. And you know what? I remember I was waiting and waiting and waiting for Friday the 13th parts 4 and on to come on Blu-ray, and I felt like I was waiting forever because they had just released parts 1 through 3 and then nothing. And then all of a sudden they actually released this beautiful box set. And I know there were some people complaining because of disc scratches and whatnot, but you know what, and while I got you here, I'll open it up real quick and just let you see what it looks like. Yeah, this is what the inside of the tin looks like, and it's got this great mini book of Crystal Lake memories. A lot of cool photos in there. And then you get this Camp Counselor patch, useless 3D glasses for the 3D version of part 3, and this is what the case looks like with nothing in it. And you got this little wristband that says, "You're all doomed. I told the others, they didn't believe me." And then each movie is in this book. And it is a pain in the ass to get the discs out of this book. I am not gonna lie, guys, but it's beautiful. I would almost recommend buying one of those 10 discs cases, Amaray cases, and putting your discs in there so that way you can protect them if you're the type that watches Friday the 13th like at least 3 or 4 times a year. But yeah, all the artwork is just really nice. I really love the way they did this box set. And the perfect companion to the Friday the 13th box set is the Crystal Lake Memories. This is a 7-hour documentary, and it covers in great detail every single movie in the franchise. There was a previous release called, his name was Jason, that was like an hour and a half, and they use a lot of footage from that in here. But if you're a massive fan of this franchise, then you'll definitely want to get this. John Carpenter's The Fog, Scream Factory's release. I just love that Scream Factory, they hire these artists to do these great renditions of these classic movies. I mean, look at that artwork. It's just beautiful. And The Burning. The Burning is a really cool 80s slasher movie. It's another one of those camp movies. So you got the Friday the 13th, you got Sleepaway Camp, and then you got The Burning. This has grown into one of my favorite movies ever. It's Black Christmas from 1974. One of the original slasher movies. This predates Halloween. But Bob Clark, who directed A Christmas Story, directed this. And I just love the score in this movie, how he uses this creepy organ, and it's just so great. And the way they did the killer, Billy, they never show him through the whole movie, and they handled it perfectly. They did exactly what the remake did not do. Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat. If you haven't seen Trick or Treat, stop watching this video. Go get this freaking movie. This will be an annual watch for you every Halloween season. It is that good. It's a great anthology. I saw this, I believe, in a Walmart one day. It's a 2-pack of the original When a Stranger Calls and Happy Birthday to Me. Really cool. It's a double feature, and it was like $5. This is another one of those, if you're an 80s slasher fan, better grab it before it goes out of print. And I already did an unboxing of all 3 of these sleepaway camps, but I can't say enough praise about the artwork on these and how great they look. I just watched Sleepaway Camp 3 the other day, so I'll get a review out for that as soon as I can. But yeah, pick these up too, because you don't know how long they're going to be around, but they look great. Alright guys, we did it. We made it through my entire horror Blu-ray collection. Thank you for, if you've stayed this long, then you are a devoted fan. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and Drumdum out.